If you know that employment in tech is not stable anymore, and companies are more trigger happy to let you go than ever, and they are expecting people to be more productive engineers than ever, and if you get a job with one of these companies, basically your leverage is like nothing. They have all the leverage. They have all the power. Then why would you continue to bet your career and your sanity and your future on employment in tech anymore? If you want to do tech this year, I'm going to be helping people escape. Get the hell out of corporate employment. When I made this channel in 2017, my purpose was to share with you a lot of problems that I saw in the tech industry with the hope that managers and product managers and senior developers that were becoming managers would change things in the culture of existing companies to make it healthier and better the way that we all work together. And unfortunately, I've come to the conclusion after coaching over 120 different people over the last 5 years that that's probably never going to happen. I'll start by just sharing, a real true thing that happened to me. And that's that about 4 years ago, my oldest son, who had already done multiple things in his life, in his early 20s to kind of get established with some sort of career, sat down next to me at the couch. And I'm thinking to myself, this doesn't happen very often. And I, didn't know what he was going to say. And he begins to share, "Hey, Dad, kind of laughing about it. This might seem kind of weird, but I've been thinking about it more and more. And I think I want to get into programming." Think about if you were my son, how much you're going to hear about challenges in the software industry, right? You've seen all these videos. It's inevitable that he's going to hear some of that stuff over the years. So he knew straight out, was probably thinking to himself, what's my dad going to think about all this? What I told my son was, I think it's great that you're learning to code. And, I'm excited for you. I'm going to help you the whole time, however I can. But I also think you should strongly consider looking at it as something you're learning to understand how technology works and be able to create things and have some hands-on skill, not just be completely clueless about tech and clueless about programming, but probably, let's say 4 to 5 years in, make an explicit determination in your career to basically learn some business skills, some marketing skills, some sales skills to either get into consulting or technology consulting of some sort, start a business where you can sell a small product like a micro SaaS or something like that, or educate people on, your unique take on tech, do something other than working for the companies. This is just the reality. This isn't one of those episodes like, here's what happened to me, man, and this sucks, and so the industry sucks. This is just a consistent theme that I experienced in my career and I'm seeing with everyone else, which is basically when you get a job, no matter how good the job is when you start, the moment the company decides that what they want to do isn't in line with your career anymore. Let's say they want you to use a different language. They want you to work on a project that's not important. They want you to support a legacy code base. They want you to shift into some role. You'll convince yourself, and I've done it too, like, well, I'll just do this for a little bit. And that's when they've got you, because the moment that happens, you've got a cost to the opportunity you could be pursuing to be sharpening your skills, making more money, growing your career, going in the direction that you need to go. And instead, you're wasting it doing stuff for the other company. To have a career that you're happy with and really be able to feel in control of your career, I believe employment for companies is the worst way to do it at this point. Much of what I'm helping people with now is how do you actually transition into working for yourself? And you've seen probably over the last year, I've started to make a few episodes where I'm sharing some of my own stories, some of the things I'm trying to share with you to help you with. Well, I'm even more adamant than ever. And this is something I've been talking with my wife about. This is something I've been talking with my clients about. You probably know I have a Discord server, people who get on Patreon or coaching clients go on there. We talk about it there. I'm talking to people over and over and over and over again with amazing careers who are just super depressed and disillusioned because of the state of the industry. And here's the thing. It's not the state of tech in general. I believe technology is in a better place than ever. I use AI all the freaking time for my business. The technologies I use, let's say for my website and for integrations. And, I built a product called Dev Pathfinder you might have heard of this last year that I launched. All this stuff has been exponentially easier to just do now that AI is there. But unfortunately, again, I'm seeing engineers, they're just looking at it as AI is a fad and it's negative and it's going to take my job. And there are negative aspects of AI. I'm not sticking my head in the sand, but the better way to look at it, I think, is if you know that employment in tech is not stable anymore and companies are more trigger happy to let you go than ever, and they are expecting people to be more productive engineers than ever. And if you get a job with one of these companies, basically your leverage is like nothing. They have all the leverage. They have all the power. Then why would you continue to bet your career and your sanity and your future on employment in tech anymore? If you want to do tech this year, I'm going to be helping people escape. Get the hell out of corporate employment. Now, you may still have to work with companies, but not engaging with them as an employee that's subject to their rules and regulations, and not walking into engagements with them expecting I'm just going to work here and delude myself that it's stable until the project ends or they lay me off. That is no way to live. It's no way to treat your family, your kids, your friends. If you got other people dependent on you, if I or you continue to pretend that that's a good strategy, we're actually, as harsh as this sounds, I say this because I care about you, we are willfully ignorant of the stupidity of continuing to bet on that. Stop giving a crap if you're going to become senior engineer or principal or, someone comes to you with some big promotion with more responsibility. Every time you pick those up, and I did the same thing, every time you walk into that, you're committing to being the company's bitch even more. If you do that and they pay you more, it feels good in the short term, but you're really making it harder for yourself in the long run. So let me just bring this all back around. This year, I'm going to be having some pretty cool announcements over the next couple months. I don't want to completely unveil it to you yet. There's a lot of thinking I've done over the last 2 months, talking to my clients, doing a lot of research, looking back over all the coaching client cases I've had, looking back over my own career. And I've come up with a approach to help you with this year that I think there's nothing else like this in the industry. The way I'm going to help you with it is very different than just buying a course or watching YouTube videos. And I think it's going to be pretty exciting and engaging for people who are ready to do this. But let me just wrap this up with some words of encouragement that if you're frustrated out there and you feel like your job's difficult, it's very honorable. If you've got bills to pay, maybe you have a wife or a husband, maybe you've got children and they're depending on you. If your job's not awesome right now, I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm not here to say that you're failing somehow. What I am saying though is I believe there's a time to start becoming more intentional about your career and start going, I'm going to actually not just let my career happen to me, but I'm going to take explicit actions, and that those actions are going to be bigger than I just got laid off. I'm going to study Leet Code and HackerRank, and I'm going to go out on LinkedIn, which is completely broken. I'll talk about that more in the future. That whole system is completely stacked against you. There's an endless number of distractions that you can kind of get caught in to just la 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 and pretend this isn't happening. And I understand that. This is uncomfortable. It's difficult, but it doesn't have to be. If you start to take at least a step every day and then a step and then a step, that's what I've done over the last 7 years. Remember, my whole career went to shit 7 years ago. I lost everything. Talked about that in the burnout episode. You can get to a place like I am now where I don't work for companies. I work for individual people. Now I do have a technically 2 consulting contracts, but they're with owners of the business. They're smaller businesses. They're great bill rates, and it's very little hours, and there's zero estimating. That's the kind of work that I would like to help you get if you want to become, let's say, a consultant. But you got to have high leverage. And you're not going to get high leverage if you basically are going to companies selling basic programming abilities, not knowing how to position them as far as how valuable they are, and not charging a high enough bill rate that you actually instill the confidence in whoever's about to, hire you. Whoa, this person's asking a lot of money. They must be worth it. Maybe I ought to listen to them. So we'll talk about this more this year. I know this has been a little bit of a ramble and a rant episode today, but again, hope you're doing okay out there. I haven't made an episode since I think it was last November. It's been a couple months, but I'm back now. I'm looking forward to talking to you this year. And I hope if you're struggling, you just hang in there, be smart. And I look forward to helping you as much as I can this year. Until next time, thanks.